So last week in conference, we were studying the first of the latter limbs of the Ashtanga practice, and someone for 2 points tell me what that limb is. Pratyahara. So last week we talked about withdrawing from our senses, and in doing that, we are able to be more present in our lives with our senses once we do that. So this week we're moving into the sixth limb of the Ashtanga 8 limbs, so the second of the internal limbs that we're studying. What is that? Yes. So there's a D and a H together, and in the language it's pronounced da, dharana. So dharana means what? To focus, to concentrate. The literal translation for D-H-R, dar, is to hold. And I like to use that translation because it really helps us understand a little better what we're doing. The idea is we are holding our attention, we're holding our mind in one place, is the idea. And the beautiful thing about yoga is this, you know, we're going to do this very physical practice, but it's different than if we were all just going to go to the gym this morning and lift weights and stretch our muscles and do some weight-bearing stuff for our skeletal system. That would not be yoga. If we were going to do a seated meditation today and just sit and meditate, that would not be yoga. Yoga is unique and special because it combines those two. So I like to think about it in that way because in a way for us to have this internal practice, we need a container to have it in, and the container is our body. So in the practice, I said this last week, Ashtanga is very specific in this way. We have 3 things, we say tristana, that help us hold our mind in our container, that help us hold our mind present. What is the first most important thing that does that in our practice? Breath. So number 1 is our breath. Guruji always says, without the breath, we're just doing gymnastics. So, and when I teach new people, I always say to them, this is a breath practice. That's number 1. What's the second leg of tristana? Drishti. So our gazing point becomes the other way that we focus our mind. So in this practice, we don't just do Jana Shirsasana and close our eyes. Very specifically, in Ashtanga, we inhale Brumadhya Drishti, it's the third eye. We exhale Pada Drishti, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale Brumadhya, exhale. Every single vinyasa, every single pose has a very specific drishti. And what we learn is in a way that keeps my body in alignment. But even more importantly, it really holds my mind present in this moment, also in my body and what my body is doing is the idea. It's very specific. So what is the third limb, or the third foundational part of Tristana? Vinyasa. So the idea is that in Ashtanga, it is a very specific entrance and exit for each pose that we do. And we articulate those in a way that I like to refer to it even as a punctuation. You know, if we were just reading a story and there were no punctuations, it would be very difficult, maybe even to understand, you know, everything kind of blurred together. And even though Ashtanga has this beautiful sequencing that flows, we still need that punctuation, we need that articulation to fully be present in the physical body as well as the mental body. So again, I'm going to use Jana Shirsasana, Sapta position. We inhale. The frame is very specific. I have a mudra with my hand. My arms are active. My spine is lengthening. My bandhas are engaged. My hamstring, the top of my legs are engaged. All of this in Sapta position by pulling back slightly and inhaling. That is what holds my mind here. And then as I exhale into the second vinyasa, I articulate the body again, and I breathe and articulate the movement. Again, so I'm fully present for that. So the idea being that the more I can practice this physical practice on my mats, the stronger I get, the more flexible, the more healthy I am in my body. Yoga is so cool because at the exact same time we're doing the same thing to our mind. we're getting stronger in our mind, we're getting more focused, we're also getting more open and more flexible in our way of being in our mind. And it's bringing us always to what we talked about last week, the present moment. I'm here right now, I'm with all of you. And sort of, I think one of the most beautiful gifts that we get from being in the present moment is that we're more alive, or more able to be, really live our life. So, you know, I was saying that the other day I had the fun of going to a concert and listening to the music and singing along and just never wanting it to end. It was just this moment right at the end when all of my friends were like singing together and swaying back and forth, and it was just this moment in time that I was so present for in every way with my senses and my sound, that it made that moment so rich. And I think sometimes we think of like big things in life, like you know, the day I got married or this or this. But really our lives are made up of just these little moments. Our lives really are made up of a bunch of little moments. So the more that I can be present for the little moments, the richness comes to our lives, right? So you think, so often I talk about autopilot. So we're out there, we're living, we're surviving, we get up, and sometimes we miss stuff. We might miss a beautiful moment with your daughter, you know, where you're able to just hear her voice or hold her hand, or she says something so cute. And sometimes we're so busy we miss that, right? But if the more present we are using our yoga practice to be more present, those little things that you're like, just makes your day. You know, just that one little moment with Bailey, you know, just totally could make your day. That's what our yoga is about. It gives us such a gift off our mats to be present and to live all the little moments of our life. I just want to live every day as if I have deliberately come back to this one day to enjoy it as if it was the full, final day of my extraordinary, ordinary life.